They say that sometimes failure breeds success. And in 2012, the Ottawa Senators had a chance to bury the New York Rangers in Game 6. They did not. The Rangers came back, won Game 6, eventually won Game 7. But this time around, a different story. The Ottawa Senators will go on to win this series and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals.
And it's official. The Bruins have won the Rick Nash sweepstakes, acquiring the forward from the New York Rangers. The house cleaning continued, sending Ryan McDonough and JT Miller to Tampa Bay.
From the New York Rangers, Mats Zuccarello. He is the newest member of the Dallas Stars.
The Winnipeg Jets have acquired Kevin Hayes from the New York Rangers.
Hello one, hello all, this is CP, otherwise known as Charles. Welcome to Sports with a C. This is my Rangers Rebuild Report season preparation video. I was waiting for a particular trade to happen before I did this. And well, the preseason has started, so I might as well just get this video out and done. A lot of this had been produced weeks, months ago, but a day late and a buck short, but still just in time for the regular season. Here is the Triple R preseason report. I really didn't want to release the video that I had in mind without a trade happening, and then the trade happening, thus rendering my video moot before the season even started. And instead, I kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and now it's close to the buzzer. Jack Eichel has been stripped of his captaincy, and he didn't pass a physical. Shocking. So anyway, here we go. The coronavirus-shortened 2021 season was a bizarre anomaly where the Rangers improved, not enough, mind you, but still somehow finished with more points than the Stanley Cup finalist Montreal Canadiens. God bless that format last season. So to those of you who think there's some sort of conspiracy in regards to the Rangers previous to lottery drawings, I give you the 2021 standings. Now shut up. Going back to the last time the Rangers made the postseason in 2016-2017 and the following season in which they sent the letter out, the Rangers technically never really bottomed out, yet still reaped some of the benefits of teams that do bottom out. And if you look at the statistics of the shortened season of 2021, there's plenty of reason to think that we've passed the end of the beginning and are in the middle of this upswing. As the NHL returns to its 3 divisional and 2 wild card playoff team format, there's certainly more than enough reason to believe that the Rangers should be competitive in 21-22, or at the very least, still playing meaningful hockey in March, April, May. As for the unit that performed in that 21 season, at even strength, they let 7 goals in more than they scored, which is not spectacular. You want to be good at 5-on-5, so it's a bad start there. However, the Rangers were in the better half of the league in special teams, including the top third of penalty killing. So their special teams appears to be decent. If that can make improvements, that's a great step forward, and they just got to shore up their 5-on-5, which shouldn't be too drastic a step. We also have a pretty decent sample size in regards to the 2 high-pressure youngsters under 20s to gauge something off of. To be honest with you, I can't recall a time where the Rangers had high-profile rookies like this, and I'm going to put up my comparison to the last time I can remember there being a rookie that was this exciting / high profile. I'm not going to talk about Nicholas Sundstrom because he was supposed to be a big deal and just was Nicholas Sundstrom. But the closest comparison I could come to is ALEXEI KOVALEV. Whether or not KAAPO and ALEXEI LAFRENIERE fill the shoes of ALEXEI KOVALEV, there's a lot about what they do and how their game is that at times looks better, at times doesn't. I mean, who stick-handled like KOVALEV? He was a beauty to watch with the puck. But there's other elements that they're much smarter than what we got from KOVALEV, and KOVALEV probably did more later on in his career with the Penguins. He was a goal scorer, which is exciting when you consider what the Rangers need, especially 5-on-5. I still think it's very early to judge one way or another. We don't get Crosbys and McDavids every year, so some cookies need extra time in the oven, and well, you know, it's been a really weird 2 seasons. The last 2 seasons have been completely abnormal. We cut 20 short due to the coronavirus, and 2021 there was no preseason. So as we go right now in the 2021 preseason, it's the first time that Alexis Lafreniere is playing meaningless games and not being thrown to the fire and able to travel and be in a full building and so on and so forth. So there's nothing to compare what the end of 2020 and all of 2021 were like, because we never experienced that. So this is probably the first season that you could sit back and watch both players and start judging something. More so, especially for KAAPO, who's had some time, who's played in front of arenas before, but now he's got well over 100 games under his belt, and you know, it's time to start becoming who you are. Going into the 2021 season, you could have said that the strongest aspect of the Rangers was the goaltending, and with that in mind, it probably could be considered a disappointment when you look at how decently the Rangers did in scoring, most notably when David Quinn was not behind the bench. But in a bounce-back year and a year where the defensemen are all a bit older, if the goaltenders play to their capability, there's certainly reason to be optimistic this season. And the main question heading into 21-22 is this the year? Are they making the turn? Can we start considering the Rangers out of the rebuild phase and into the building phase? And I certainly feel like they're going to be playing for a position in the postseason, barring some catastrophic injury or 3. They're still not a complete team, mind you. There were holes, and there still are holes. Some got bigger, and I think we'll find out how big those holes are and how, or if they could address them in time to make a difference this season. What I feel like that means is they're going to have some important decisions, some difficult decisions in regards to their overflow with defensive talent in the minors. It basically seems inevitable at this stage, unless for some reason Libor Hayek is playing more than 5 games in 21-22. Something terribly wrong happened. But in all likelihood, some pieces are going to have to be moved to help build in other spots. Meanwhile, on paper, this team certainly has the most potential of any team I could think of in the 21st century. On paper, this team certainly looks stronger than that really, really strong core from 12 to 17. I would say 15. 2016, things got a little weird, but from 12 to 17, we had a stretch of playoff, I don't want to say dominance, but the Rangers, I think during that stretch, had more postseason wins than any other team. And even now, I would take this roster over what we had then. If they play to their capabilities, this could be really exciting. And for the Eichel situation, it's almost better off that things played out the way they did, because if the Rangers made a trade to pick up Eichel, they would have had to wait for him to get healthy. They would be paying quite a bit more to have his services, and in all likelihood, they would have lost 2 pieces that are currently going to be playing in the lineup. And if you look at his numbers versus that of Mika Zibanejad, there's not much that we're gaining there, or at least not enough where you're giving away 2 pieces of your current roster and some future for a guy who, in all honesty, we don't know what he's going to be like on the other end of this. And secretly, I'm kind of glad that this played out the way it was. I'll tell you my pre-draft idea. This was an image I had for this episode when it was supposed to air in July. My pre-draft trade proposal is something that if I looked at it now, I'd be like, probably not, mostly because Buchnevich is already gone. But yeah, I guess Eichel would probably be better than Sammy Blais, but I digest. And with them not making that trade, there's a lot more wiggle room to plan for the future. I've heard it said somewhere else, and I can't help but fall in love with the idea of Quentin Byfield for a prospect or 2 or 3 on the defensive end. I wouldn't mind doing that. I don't know if any of you have an issue with that, but Quentin Byfield currently makes way less than $10 million, and there's no rush to get him going. And with him making the amount he is, you have that money to pay Zibanejad for a couple of seasons until the ELC expires on Byfield. But those are just dreams at this stage. As for the goaltending, they're solid. The Rangers are rather solid. When Shesterkin is good, it certainly makes you forget somebody who wore number 30 sometimes. But he hasn't been perfect, and there still seems to be some building that needs to be done there. And as for Georgiev, he might have taken a step back, but that's still not saying anything horrible. Georgiev as a 2 is certainly much better a choice than 10 teams is 1, in my opinion. In the end, it's got to be about the defense improving. Lundqvist kept us in games for only so long, and to his credit, Girardi certainly helped take a lot of shots on Lundqvist's behalf in the late aughts and early 10s. But this team, the way it looks like it's shaping up should be able to give Shesterkin and Georgiev a chance to win games that they may not or should not be able to win in the near future. And even saying that, Shesterkin playing at 80% of his potential, I think, is still enough reason to get excited for the Rangers to possibly be playing some buzzworthy hockey late into April, possibly May, this season. So, to those of us who remember being in the Garden for Kreider's first goal at the Garden against Washington, for Stepan's overtime winner against Washington, for Stahl's overtime winner against Washington, for Gabourik's overtime winner against Washington, for Hagelin winning the series against Pittsburgh. For those of us who are wondering, when will the Rangers be back? Are the Rangers back? I wouldn't say yes to that yet. Not yet. But their strengths are stronger right now. There was nobody on those Ranger teams who could match Panarin. And again, it all comes down to potential. If a lot of these guys play to their potential, if KAKKO takes that step up, if Lafreniere takes that step up, if Hedl keeps improving, and if we get something on the back end that, not exactly is Adam Fox-worthy, but if one of our kids on defense plays remotely close to their potential, there's reason to be optimistic. Regardless, they're going to be exciting. And again, all things considered, all best case scenarios considered, they might be exciting enough to knock off a team that has won a division and, really get their foot in the door. I'm not saying, they're gonna storm 4 rounds, but they might be able to steal one from a team they have no business winning one from. And that alone would be a hell of a stepping stone for a bunch of kids. The end of the beginning has passed us, and expectations should be of postseason. As for my prediction, which should have been recorded in July, but is now recorded the night that they just got shut out by the Islanders 4-0 in their first preseason game. I'm predicting a 95 to 100 point season, which would probably be good enough for a wild card berth. And again, depending on what the team looks like, what our injury situation's like, I could see them making noise and maybe winning a round, certainly winning a postseason game. Remember winning in the postseason? Let's just hope everything is okay. Look back at how crazy we were about Eichel and how much we thought we needed him. Maybe we don't. It would be nice, but now there's all that money, and we like Zibanejad, don't we? We can keep him a little bit, and who knows? Who knows? Like I said, we're going to have a lot of decent defensemen that are going to have nowhere to go. So if you've got holes as of 2021-22, and you've got 5 defensemen that could play on 28 teams, pair 2 of them up and get a big centerpiece, pardon the pun. So that's it. 95 to 100 points, wild card team. Quote me on it, and then get back to me when they have 47 points. And Shesterkin pulls a Jim Carrey, and we never hear from him again. But until that time, I will poke back with you around a month or so into the season to see how this rebuild is going. But if you enjoyed the crash course, the extremely late preseason talk, the prediction video, please click that like button. Let me know to keep going. And if you want to see more of this stuff in the future, clicking subscribe, that certainly helps as well. I'll be doing other sports-related things, comedy, who knows. I idolize Urinating Tree, and certainly Steve Dangle is up there, but there's a lot of Ranger guys talking on the internet, so you're gonna have to break out of the mold, and I will certainly try to do that. So until late October, mid-November, let's go Rangers. Have a day.